Welcome to Into the Blue, presented by Penelope Bourbon, a weekly look behind the scenes of the Tampa Bay Lightning with reporters Gabby, Shirley, and Ben Pierce.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of Into the Blue. I'm Gabby Shirley, alongside my friend and co-host Ben Pierce. We are recording this episode from Benchmark International Arena, and it's a big week for this Tampa Bay Lightning team, Ben. They're on a 3-game skid here, but a 4-game road trip. And they've done well on the road, so hopefully they can right the ship as we progress here.
On the road, and a couple of Atlantic Division opponents to boot, right? They're headed out to Canada, and I said this morning, I don't know if you were here yet this morning, but they're going to play the Toronto Maple Leafs tonight, and then turn around and play the second half of a back-to-back against the Montreal Canadiens. Somehow, tomorrow is game 30 already, which just seems crazy to say out loud.
Absolutely crazy.
But they haven't played either of these teams.
Yeah.
The Toronto Maple Leafs and Montreal Canadiens,
wild.
two division opponents, they haven't played either team yet. Mm-hmm. And now they're going to play them in back-to-back nights in games 29 and 30. So it'll be a great test. Now, Toronto obviously is playing without their first and second goalie, and we'll get to this later. Unfortunately, the Lightning are also playing without their top goalie in Andrei Vasilevskiy. A tough development this week. But there is opportunity here for the Lightning. If there is good news, the Lightning are one of the NHL's best teams this season in back-to-back situations. You mentioned on the road. They're also one of the best teams on the road. Now, it was a weird week for the Lightning, but it might be a good thing for this team to get out on the road. There was some good developments, it sounds like, this morning in the injury front. We'll also get to that here in a little bit. But I think as far as this team getting back to winning, they've liked a lot of what they've done. And I know you've talked a lot to Coop. You've heard from the players. What do you think they've got to do in order to get the wins to stack up again like they did on that 7-game win streak?
Well, right, Ben, that's the million-dollar question. And I was going to say shockingly, that's not true because I feel like this team is pretty even keel. Yeah. Frustration, I don't really think has crept into the game. But, yeah, John Cooper said it after the most recent loss on home ice to the Islanders that, you know, it stings because they're playing pretty sound hockey and they're not getting rewarded for it.
Yeah.
And Ben, aside from, and actually this is a debate because John Cooper did not like my question after that first loss to start this 3-game skid against the Islanders on the road, where I felt that I saw it, and the players kind of said as much in the room, but Coop, whether he just disagreed or he thought the game righted itself, that first period on the road against the Islanders was a little bit slow for the Lightning. So again, after that, I feel like you can't really critique their game all that much. Like,
they look good.
The scoring has been a little dicey, but they're putting up the shots on goal are there, the shot attempts are there. They're getting chances. So yes, it is. You use the word weird. It's been a weird past week for the Lightning with this 3-game skid because they're doing a lot of things really well. And I think, again, they've said as much if they just stick to the process, which sometimes you roll your eyes at because that's a little bit of a cliche in the hockey world. But I feel that they do mean it. They stick to what they're supposed to be doing. They do it well. Like, things are going to turn.
Yeah, well, and forgive me, and maybe you'll know as soon as I say this who said it. I don't remember exactly who said it, whether it was Cooper, one of the players. But somebody said after that last loss to the Islanders, they said, we got the 7-game win streak, and now over these last couple of games, we've had some losses. Now our job is to stop the bleeding.
Yeah.
Right? That's what we have to do, is just stop the bleeding and move on. And I think that's the perfect way to look at it.
One of the players, I think. Yeah.
Right? And that's it. As long as you just keep these losing streaks to just a couple of games, and then you get some points in there, that's fine. Because they had that 7-game win streak, it's not that big of a deal. They've given themselves some cushion. I got in this morning and looking at the standings, they're still on top, right? That win streak allows them to go through this little bit of a rough patch, if you will, and not have that panic that we saw at the start of the year. They're just fine. It's just a matter of trusting what they're doing and not totally reworking things. Now, The other part of that is the injuries, and I think that can kind of lean into our next point of this roster is going to look different. Luckily tonight they will get some reinforcement, it sounds like, based on this morning's skate per Dave Mishkin, who's filling in a little bit on our front. We appreciate everything from Mish this morning, but it sounds like Brayden Point and Nikita Kucherov will both be back in the lineup today, but Dominic James, who left that last game early, will not be in, and unfortunately still no Vasilevskiy. So what do you think as far as roster injuries? What do you make of what we're looking at tonight?
Yeah, so right, Ben, just by the numbers. On Sunday, Steven Santini, he was reassigned to the Syracuse Crunch. So let's start with the forwards, though. 14 forwards currently on our roster, but, you know, you could say 10 healthy forwards if you were including Point and Cooch. But yes, as you mentioned, based on what was seen in the morning skate, it sounds like Point is going to play, and it sounds like Kucherov is likely to play. So then you say maybe there are 12 healthy forwards, and that is because Douglas and James both left the last game early due to something. We saw Douglas get checked into the boards, and James, what was that play?
I didn't see one, but he left the bench early.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So there wasn't a big play, a big hit, but he left the bench.
Yes. So no James in the morning skate, so he's not going to play tonight. And then it looked like Douglas might be
an extra
healthy-ish scratch.
Right. And that was good to
or
see
not
Douglas
healthy
skate.
Scratch.
Douglas did
Yes.
skate this morning. James did not.
Yes, correct. But yes, as you mentioned, Brayden Point coming back, Nikita Kucherov coming back. I mean, that's all you need to say. We know what those players can do. Okay, defensemen. 8 defensemen on the roster, but 6 healthy defensemen because Chernak and McDonagh are both still on IR. And our D-men, I mean, this has been an ongoing saga, if you will, with our big boys being out. Victor Hedman just came back the other night, and we have seen what the Lightning have been able to do. So there is depth defensively. I'm not really worried about that. Are you?
No, like everybody that's come up has been good. And again, I asked this question just the other day before the guys left. Like I asked specifically about Darren Radish and JJ Moser on that pair, and Coop was pretty quick to say, listen, they've been great, but so has Declan Carlisle.
Right.
And he went down the list of every single guy. Like it has been a true group effort. And I think you have to give credit to everybody who's stepped up, because defensively, that's been the difference for this group from the start of the season to now. And I think the goals right now aren't being scored, but they're not losing games 5-1, 6-1, right? The other night it was 1-0, and then the Islanders scored with, 1.9 seconds left into the empty net. Defense is not the problem right now.
Right.
The defense is doing their part more than you could possibly ask, especially when you consider the guys that they've been missing. And I think it's just a matter of just keep doing what you're doing. So you have to be happy with the blue line.
And then goalies. 3 goalies, again, listed on the roster, but Andrei Vasilevskiy has been put on IR. Jonas Johansson will be starting tonight against Toronto. Brandon Halverson was obviously called up, so he'll be the backup. Ben, this is perhaps the most concerning area because we know how valuable Andrei Vasilevskiy is to this team, but in the same breath, Jonas Johansson has been playing out of his mind too.
Yes, that last game against the Islanders, he finished with his best save percentage of the season so far. Now,
right there.
I should say, too, I know there's some panic right now about, oh my God, Andrei Vasilevskiy IR. All that IR does is, first off, it allows Brayden Point to be activated off IR.
There you go.
So that it could just be a roster transaction, right? Where Vasi goes on, then he can't play for 7 days from that move. But people also need to remember, Gabby, and I'm sure you'll remember this, John Cooper was asked after that game against the Islanders, do you expect to see Andrei Vasilevskiy in this back-to-back this week? Mm-hmm. John Cooper said, I wouldn't expect Vasi to play in either of the games on Monday or Tuesday. This isn't that big of a development.
Yeah.
And you never want to be missing your world-class future Hall of Fame goaltender. No. Is it good to have a guy like that on IR? No. But I think people saying, oh my God, the season's spiraling. How long is he out? What's happened? Like, the good news is I think the team was prepared for this reality. And I don't think this is like oh my God, this is way worse than we feared situation. this is, I think, what they knew was coming. And so for fans, I think you can take a little bit of a deep breath. I don't think it was we went to bed on Sunday night, woke up today and went, oh my God, we have to put him on IR. I think they knew this was a reality.
And Ben, correct me if I'm wrong, but he has not played since that Tuesday game in New York. So this is like retroactive, right? So he already has a couple days.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So it's not 7 days from today.
Correct.
Okay. So again, hopefully it's just a little something and we'll see him sooner rather than later.
Well, and we'll see. Like, Vasi, again, after the start that he had to the season, and he was pretty hard on himself at the start of the season. He's been tremendous as well. But I don't want to glaze over the Johansson thing because he has been so good for this team from the start of the season. And he's one of those guys that is really reluctant to give himself a lot of credit. But everybody else in this locker room all season long
is giving it to him. Yep.
It has said just how great he's been. We saw it against the Islanders. He made a bunch of really, really good stops. He gave them every chance to tie that game, to win that game even. And they've said over and over again, when Jonas Johansson is in net, we believe we have a chance to win, just like we do when Andrei Vasilevskiy's in net. And we'll see. This is a back-to-back. I would be shocked if we see Jonas Johansson play both halves of a back-to-back. Maybe we see Brandon Halverson get the second half of the back-to-back. Who knows? But we'll see. It's going to be a challenge for this team. But again, these are the kind of moments where maybe you see a team really pull together, and maybe this is a moment where you can kind of inspire your group and say, hey, everybody's looking at you and say this team's got no shot tonight. These are the games where you can really pull together, and maybe you pull a couple of wins together out of it, and this is where you really propel yourself and move forward. So we'll see.
Ben, the only other thing I'll add, which, again, it's coming from our fans, so they don't need me to tell them this, but every single week we've asked for questions. I don't actually think there was one this week, maybe for the first time. There has been a question about what did Johansson change? He looks so good. Like, what's he doing differently? How has he been able to elevate his game? On and on and on. So, yes, we know how well he's playing. His teammates know, but also, like, it's so obvious that not to diminish our fans' hockey knowledge, but like it sounds like just the average casual fan can see it too.
How about that new mask, by the way? Clean.
Yeah, his gear is...
That new mask he was wearing the other night looks nice.
It's really good. Yes, it is. Okay, our third and final topic for this episode, the Ryan McDonagh contract. 3-year contract extension worth an average annual value of $4.1 million. I mean, Ben, I really don't think anyone would argue with this contract based on what we know about Ryan McDonagh as a human and as a player.
Yeah, like this is a guy who is at the very top of the NHL in defensive awareness, defensive capability. He's contributed offensively, right? Like at the start of the year, he was he was among the NHL leaders in goals by a defenseman,
yes,
and everybody was like, "Oh my God, Ryan McDonagh, look out!" Right? He's quickly crawling up toward the top of the list in all-time blocked shots, and we'll see where he ends up when this contract is over. He's wearing a letter on his jersey like he always does. He's everything you could want from an NHL player. I know that he's not maybe a Nikita Kucherov, right, a Victor Hedman as far as this franchise goes. He's in that very next tier, right? Like very next tier of guys that make a difference both on and off the ice. And all you have to do is go back and listen to what Victor Hedman said when we talked to him the other day about what was your reaction when you learned of the Ryan McDonagh contract extension. And listening to Victor Hedman say, when these contracts are up, I'm going to be 40, he's going to be 39, something like that. And he said we're both going to be pretty close to done, and that means a lot, that we're going to kind of get to ride off into the sunset a little bit together. But he said, and we're going to get to do it trying to win another Stanley Cup. Right? It's not just, we're going to go on a little retirement tour, put our feet up, and have some fun in the sun.
Absolutely not.
They really believe in this group and their chance to win. But they said, like, Hetty said, I love this guy, right? Like, I want to do it with one of my very best friends who I've already won a couple of Stanley Cups with, and it means a lot. They're going to get to do it together for the next couple of years. And Ryan McDonagh is, like, the definition of class act in the NHL. I don't know if you could find a single player in the NHL, if you were to ask him, like, say something bad about Ryan McDonagh, I don't know if you're going to find one guy in the
You
NHL
won't.
that's going to do it.
You won't.
He deserves every second and every bit of the praise. And for what he's doing at his age, I think it's one of those contracts that's going to age perfectly, especially with that salary cap going up. You know, you look at where that dollar amount came in, and I'll kick it back to you with this. How about this summer? Julien Brisebois saying we're going to wait until the end of the year to get this done. And all of a sudden, we didn't even make it to the halfway point, and Ryan McDonagh's on a 3-year contract extension.
Thank you for bringing that up, Ben. Yes, that was perhaps the best part of all of it. Julien Brisebois did say those exact words, that it was going to be pushed till after this season, see how the season went, where the money needs to be allocated. And according to Ryan McDonagh, Julien Brisebois came to him, and the negotiation was quick, and both sides were happy. Like, can you put together a better surprise scenario, Ben? And you mentioned what Victor Hedman said. I got to say what John Cooper said when he was asked about him. Coop sometimes, and not even really in this context, because him and Ryan McDonagh are very close, but sometimes when you ask about Nikita Kucherov and Andrei Vasilevskiy and, you know, the guys that are the guys, and how great do you think, he rolls his eyes like, hey, what else am I going to say? And he very simply said, well, if Ryan McDonagh's not in the Hall of Fame, why would you even have a Hall of Fame? Which speaks volumes. And then we did obviously hear from Ryan McDonagh as well, Ben, and he is pretty matter of fact. I felt like I heard some emotion in his voice there for sure, but you already mentioned it. I think the key there was like, yes, this is the ideal scenario for me because we love this city, we love this organization, but I will still get to compete for a Stanley Cup with these guys. And that's it. It's just like a family in that Tampa Bay Lightning locker room, and one of their premier members, can you rank family members? He is sticking around for the next 3 years. So all in all, just a phenomenal situation. And yes, thank you for bringing it up once again, that Julien Brisebois backtracked perhaps a little bit because, hey, this guy's playing great. We see how valuable he is. Like, let's just lock him down right now.
He's a Bolt.
Yep.
And a Wisconsin Badger. So let's go.
Let's go. Okay, moving on to the Blue Line segment where we answer your questions. Guys, again, I put a tweet out last night too late. I just forgot. So my apologies. And we had so many questions and so many good ones. I'm going to try to go back if we don't answer it here on this podcast and directly answer you on X. But we're going to start with this first one from Beverly. What is meant by quote unquote structure? Having never played hockey, this is a foreign phrase to me. And Beverly, let me tell you, a couple years ago, this was also a foreign phrase to me. Now I hear it so often. I think I have a pretty good understanding of it, but perhaps my explanation will just be crazy. So, to a guy that's played hockey and also coached hockey, I'm going to let him break it down for you.
Okay, I'm going to do this in the simplest way possible
Please.
because you really can get into the weeds with something like this.
Please.
We hear it a lot from the guys, and I think this is the best way to do it. They talk about playing as a 5-man system, right? As a 5-man unit. When you are playing within your structure or within your system, you are playing together. So, if one guy isn't playing in the right spot, everything falls apart. Typically what that means is, if you are the forwards, your center is playing down low, helping out the defenseman. Your wingers are up top, covering the points, if you're in your defensive zone. That's about as base level as it gets, okay? The further up ice you go, things change. But let's say in your defensive zone, one of those wingers gets a little bit too low. That puck goes up to the point.
Oh, God.
And now let's say your center is the one chasing instead of your winger. He's out of position. Things explode.
Chaos.
So your structure, playing your structure is making sure that everybody's in the right spot and not chasing. And you'll hear coaches, you'll hear Cooper say, I think we were chasing the puck a little bit tonight. That's because players aren't in the right spots. They start chasing the puck instead of trusting their positioning. Structure is all about trusting that your feet are in the right place. Your stick can play a lot of structure as well. It's all about being in the right place on the ice. Now, structure can also be on the penalty kill, right? Talk about power play, structure. It's where you're at on the ice as a unit. It's playing as a group. You have to trust that. On the forecheck, right? Sometimes you'll hear 2-1-2. That means there's 2 forwards coming in. That third forward is the support, and then you got your 2 defensemen behind you. It's all about playing as one system, one group, and that's the structure that they're talking about.
And Ben, that structure can change based on scenario,
lines.
Some
lines have different
teams.
forechecks. The lines can have different forechecks.
Yep.
Teams have. When you play a different team, every team has a different forecheck. Every team has a different power play. That's why they do scouts, right? They watch video. It's because every team looks a little bit different. Which
that
means,
is another reason why that term is so widely used and can be very complicated.
Yes, and it changes. It changes, and which is why, though, if you trust your structure, some teams just really hunker down, and some teams, especially the younger teams in the NHL, if you have a looser structure, you'll see them just run and gun. So that's why sometimes those games end 7-6 because it's just pucks flying, goals everywhere.
Lack of structure.
Lack of structure. All right. Kickstand wants to know, Shirls, why did they take Radish off power play 1 for Dastu? Do you expect them to keep him there now that Hedman is back? I'd imagine without Kucherov, it was a handedness reason. With Radish being right-handed, it's a huge advantage when feeding Kucherov on the power play.
Whew. Okay, so Kickstand, we loved this question. And also, you probably could have answered it for yourself because, yes, you are on the right track. I actually talked about it with Brian Engblom when I witnessed it in the game, thinking that's a little strange that Dastu is out there. And, right, the personnel was a bit different. Shirley was out there. But, again, Point wasn't out there. Kuch wasn't out there. Okay, so that makes sense. And Ben and I talked about it, too, just to make sure we were on the same page. We didn't ask coaches or players, but the assumption is, yes, it has to do who's right-handed, who's left-handed. And really it was the guys on the sides, on the wings, half wall, whatever you want to say, feeding the guy at the top. So that it looked like Hagel was focused on feeding Dastu. They're both lefties, whereas Radish is a righty, so he would get the puck from Nikita Kucherov on that right side. Did I explain that correctly, Ben? And do you have something to add?
Wonderfully. No, you'll see a lot of that on the Lightning power play. The guy with the big shots up top, right? Mm-hmm. That's why we've seen a lot of Darren Radish lately. And Dastu's shown it too.
And then as far as Victor Hedman coming back, again, another really great question. He came back in the last game. We did not see him out there on the power play, but he also didn't play that many minutes. So perhaps this was a game of him just kind of
easing him back into it.
Yes, exactly. And if I had to guess, Ben, I would assume, again, unless they try it this way based on who's lefty, who's righty, and who's out there, I would assume that Ratty would stay on PP1 and Hedman would be on the second power play unit. But again, that could all change based on a number of different things. I guess we'll see tonight when they play Toronto.
Knock on wood. Mm-hmm. All depends on who's available, right? Personnel. Yes. We'll see.
Yes. All right, Ben, favorite part. Let's do it.
This season, Penelope Bourbon is a proud partner of your Tampa Bay Lightning. Whether you're cheering at Benchmark International Arena or you're raising a glass at home, Penelope brings fans together. That's one pour, one moment, one win at a time. Oof. You can find Penelope Bourbon at Publix or right here at Benchmark International Arena. Go Bolts.
Okay. I have a shout out.
Okay, let's
My
hear it.
friend, Roy, I hope I'm pronouncing your last name correctly. It's not that difficult. Millward messaged me on Instagram and said that because of our podcast and our lovely Penelope Bourbon sponsor, if you will, Ben, he went out and got it. He just had to try it. And he said it was a lot better than anything else he's had in those liquor category departments, etc. He said he was peer pressured by us in the podcast, and I really appreciated that.
Let's go.
So shout out to Roy Millward.
Let's go, Roy. That's what we're talking about.
That is exactly what we're talking about. All right. With that, everyone's favorite segment, Plus Minus. Ben, I feel like I make you go first a lot, but I'm doing it again because you alluded to your plus, which when you said it, it didn't make any sense to me. So can you start us off?
Yes. Unfortunately, I had a medical incident last week.
This is his plus, guys, so wait for it.
Yes, but I just wanted to give a shout out to all of my fantastic coworkers, Steve Versnick, Gabby Shirley, Breesman, Krenner, Bucky, and everybody else, and even some fans who noticed that I wasn't on the social media and everything, sent me some messages, who noticed I wasn't around live tweeting the games. Just appreciate all of the supports and the positive thoughts. I appreciate it. It was a tough week, an unexpected week away. I'm very happy to be back and happy that it wasn't as serious as we first thought. So just I appreciate all the support, and let's get back after it. Just knock on wood. Let's hope we're done with the hospital visits after the gallbladder and this nightmare. So my plus is we're back. Let's go.
I love that. Bolts had a weird week. You had a weird week. Definitely not a coincidence.
Only up from here. Let's
Definitely
go.
not a coincidence. Only up from here.
What's your plus?
Ben, my plus, which again you had to miss it, was the Tampa Bay Lightning Metropolitan Ministries holiday shopping event. It took place this past week, and they've done it now 3 consecutive years. I've been at all of them. And it is just so much fun. Ben, from, of course, the kids. It's all about the kids. There are these children that are chosen, and they get to go on a shopping spree, and they're paired with a Tampa Bay Lightning player for anyone who missed the basics. The money doesn't really matter, but each Tampa Bay Lightning player is also paired with someone working for the organization, and there's a $350 limit. So that is covered by, I believe, Lightning Foundation. But if the kid goes over that, which oftentimes they do, it's the player that pays for it, Ben. And I mean, I was hearing like 5 times that amount was being spent on a child. And whoever it was had, yeah, add it. Let's get it. You want 2? Whatever you want. And it is just so much fun to, of course, see these kids in that zone, Ben. Like, can you imagine being 8, 10? I mean, there were older kids there too. And just whatever you want, get it. Like, so that's incredible, number one. And then number 2, the guys that we know so well, and we see them off the ice in different settings, but they're acting like kids.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you want that hoverboard? Like, oh, like that iPad is so cool. Let's get this Lego set. Like, they are into it. I was like bopping around, so I missed a lot, but then saw a lot of different pairings, Ben. I was with Brandon Hagel for a while, and he was paired with an 8-year-old name, I believe his name was Carter, and they were ones that just, the cart was piling up. And the funniest part, actually, Ben, to me, not necessarily sweet and adorable, but at one point, Carter decided he needed donuts. So they went to the food aisle. They were searching for donuts, couldn't find the donuts. He settled on a family-sized pack of Oreos. And Hagel was like, yeah, like, I like that choice. Like, just the interactions between player, kid is so much fun. Had me laughing the entire time. And again, it's an annual event that the Tampa Bay Lightning have been doing for a number of years now. And it seems like every year it just gets better and better.
That is one of those days that I think you always forget just how great, right? Like, it's one of those days that reminds you of what an incredible organization we work for, right? It's way deeper than pucks and sticks. And these guys, like, they don't do it because they have to. You can tell they really enjoy doing it. So
yeah, it is.
That's a good plus.
It is so much fun. That was hands down my plus. You know what, Ben? Also, because we got so many good questions, there was a question from Nancy asking just how the details a little bit, and the store that they go to, no, it is not shut down. So players are amongst just the average shopper, which I think the average shopper loves seeing them because they're all in their jerseys, so they're very easy to pick out. And Nancy also wanted to know how the kids are paired with the players. I didn't get a direct answer, but honestly, I feel like it's a random pairing, right? All these kids are great. All these players are great. That's as far as like what we need for what goes into that.
Yeah.
So yeah, Nancy, I thought I would add that.
Cool. That's great. I'm going to make you go next, though.
Oh, we're doubling down?
Yeah. What's your minus?
We can't double down.
Okay. Fine. Jeez.
This is a back and forth situation, okay?
All right. Jeez. Oh, no. Are you
OCD?
Sorry.
I'm not that good at rolling.
Am I about to be your minus for that move?
I mean, maybe.
All right. My minus is the Tampa Bay Lightning injury bug. This team cannot catch a break right now. And
I don't want to just cut you off right now because it's terrible. It's the worst.
It's crazy. And I feel like I'm just repeating everything John Cooper said from the other night. But like he said, it's one guy in, one guy out, 2 guys in, 2 guys out. Mm-hmm. And I hope that's not the case because it sounds like we're getting 2 back tonight. And I swear to God, if we lose 2 tonight, we're gonna have to start doing some crazy ritual or something with some crazy doll to make things stop happening. But
voodoo magic.
Seriously, some voodoo magic because this is getting ridiculous. So hopefully we get some magic healing, and I'm sure this upcoming 3-day break here will be much appreciated after the back-to-back in this road trip. But my minus is the injury bug, so get the ice packs ready because these guys deserve the break that's coming up here.
That was a good but terrible minus.
Yeah,
Excellent. Mine, guys, and I'm going to actually apologize for the start of this podcast because it was very abrupt, just diving right into the Tampa Bay Lightning losing 3 straight games. But I didn't want to give my minus away. And my minus is the reason why I'm sitting next to you, although that's not the minus.
Nice. Nice.
That I have reached that point in pregnancy where flying is not recommended. I knew it was coming. I thought this road trip I was going to be able to sneak on. But again, not recommended. So I am done traveling for the foreseeable future, which, like I said, it's fine. It's all going to be fine. But it makes me sad. And even as Mish did a great job stepping up, Ben, like I was a little bit in scrambles, like they're on the ice for skate. Like who's out there? What do the lines look like? You know, you just fall into the routine. And when it changes, I'm still learning how to adapt. But that's my minus. A little bit sooner than I expected. Cannot fly. I won't be on the road until the playoffs. But that just means more time with this guy right here. So it's still going to be great.
Wow. What a turnaround that was. Mm-hmm. I thought that was going to end with a roast.
No, of course not.
That was so wonderful. Wow. What a great way to end a podcast.
'Tis the holiday season, you know?
What a great way to end a podcast. I think we should end it right there.
He's shocked. He's shocked.
I am. I'm in disbelief.
Let's do it before we get into an argument. Thank you so much for joining us on this episode of Into the Blue. As always, it was a pleasure, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, guys.